So now we're going to go ahead and find a formula for the nth term of a geometric sequence. Now, a geometric sequence, if you remember, back in 8.1 we talked about a little bit about referencing geometric, arithmetic, different things. A geometric sequence has a common ratio. I'll write that up here. Has a common ratio, and we use the letter R for the common ratio. And basically, it just means that to get the next term, you have to multiply or divide by a certain number. Now, we typically don't say divide, we just multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to talk about multiplying as opposed to dividing. So let's take a look at this first one. And I know that it's geometric, so I know that it does have a common ratio. Let's find out what that is. So I'm going to look from here to here, and let's see if I can figure out what they're multiplying by. It looks like they're multiplying by a tenth. But if I'm not positive, here's what I can do. I can take the second one in line, divide it by the first one in line. Second term divided by the first term, and that gives me 0.1, which is the same thing as a tenth. So I'm going to double check. I'm going to just take the fourth one in line. Whoops. The fourth one in line. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, and that divided by the third one in line. And again, I get 0.1, which is a tenth. So I'm convinced that my ratio, my common ratio, is to multiply by a tenth. So I'm going to write this at the bottom here, just to remind myself. From here to here is times a tenth. And from here to here is times a tenth. Okay, so my common ratio is a tenth. Now, once I get the common ratio, I'm ready to actually use the formula for the nth term of a geometric sequence. A sub n is a sub 1, now that's provided that we do have a sub 1, times r to the n minus 1. Now there's the formula. Now I'm going to highlight the things that you're really just not going to mess with. The n and the a sub n. When you're asked to write a formula, you're going to leave a sub n and n alone. That means in the final formula. You're going to leave them alone. Okay? Leave a sub n and n alone, unless you need to use them temporarily to come up with, they may be the a sub 1. But basically, you're going to plug in everything, plug in numbers for every position except the a sub n and the n. Okay? Now, the reason for that is this. The reason for that is n is like your x, and a sub n is like your y in a formula, right? It's an equation in two variables. Input is x, output y. Okay, input is n, output is a sub n. Okay, so that's the reason. So let's go ahead and put in the numbers that we know. A sub n, I'm going to leave it alone. What is a sub 1? Well, a sub 1 is this first position, so I'm going to write 0.2. My r I found was 1/10. Now I need to put it in parentheses because it's going to have an exponent. If it's a fraction, I'm going to need an exponent there. If it's a fraction, I'm going to need a parentheses so I can write an exponent. And then I leave the n alone, right? So believe it or not, this is the answer. This is the formula for the nth term. Now let's double check it. I'm going to double check. Meaning, I'm going to find out what the fourth one in line is, and I'm looking for this to be the answer. So a sub 4 is 0.2 to the 1/10 to the 4 minus 1. So let's see, a sub 4 is 0.2. Now I'm going to turn this into 0.1, okay, to the third power. Now I have to do this before I can multiply, right? So I have a sub 4, okay, to the third power there. Well, that's just 0.001, and then that gives me 0.002. Whoops, just a second here. Okay, I'm backing up here. Okay, my bad. That's why. 0.2 times 0.001, by golly, that's 0.0002. Okay, so it does check out. All right, let's go to the red example here. All right, let's take a look at another one. We're going to, oops, excuse me. We're going to go ahead and find the formula for the nth term. So here's my formula. And remember, we're going to leave these untouched. So all I need to know, I really just need my a sub 1. Well, I have that. That's a 3. And now I need my common ratio. Well, my common ratio this time, let's see. Looks like I'm multiplying by -2. Let's see if it works each time. By -2, by -2. Multiplying by -2. That's definitely my ratio, my common ratio. So there it is. There's my formula for the nth term. Now I'm going to double check it. Let's go with the fourth term. Let's see if we get that. A sub 4 is 3, -2 to the 4 minus 3. So a sub 4 is 3, -2, 4 minus 1, pardon me. So there's that. So a sub 4 is equal to 3. 2 to the third power is -8. -2 to the third power is -8. So I get a sub 4 is -24. And it checks out. Okay? All right. Please pardon my little glitches there, but I think we got it. Thanks for watching.